to me, this is the ongoing question with quarterbacks. And you look at Dak Prescott, you look at Carson Wentz, you look at, to take your pick, is the quarterback a force multiplier? Can he make the people around him play better? And that's the thing I'm not sure about with Carson Wentz. And I thought that we had gotten over the hump with Dak Prescott, but after this run the last 2 games, that's another question I have. The ability to give a young quarterback a good supporting staff is key.
Yes.
Whether or not he can make that better than what it is, I'm not sure if he can do that consistently.
This is a football point that you and I are, I think, in lockstep on, which maybe is dangerous for you.
Maybe I got to walk it back.
Here I go. I'll do it for you.
So, because I was in the exact same boat on Dak, which was last year when it seemed like everyone was getting credit except Dak. I understood he had a great running back, great offensive line. That defense was probably playing a little over its skis as far as what their talent level is. But I thought Dak should have been in the running for MVP of the league last year. Carson Wentz this year is obviously more touchdowns. But aside from that, having the year Dak did last year with the same situation. The Eagles have a top 2 run offense. They've got 4, well, now 3 with Jason Peters injured, but prior to that, 4 excellent offensive linemen. Jason Peters, Jason Kelsey, Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson. Like, it's similar circumstances. I think the Eagles have better wide receivers than the Cowboys had last year. Certainly a more dynamic tight end. But with Carson Wentz, we're not doing that. We are not with Carson Wentz saying, well, it's the supporting cast. Carson Wentz is the Vegas leader for league MVP. I know we did it with Dak. We're not doing it with Wentz. That part is a little vexing to me. And maybe we should have done it with neither, should have done it with both, but it seems like they are in very similar situations, Dak last year and Carson this year.
I think that we're going in a cycle of trying to judge young players the wrong way. I think that when players play well and play well early, we try to do everything we can to make excuses for discrediting them being successful at a game that we see people struggle at. Like, this is a system league. I keep repeating this. 99% of us playing in this league need to be in a good system. And inside that system, we need to be supported with a general manager or a head coach that's going to put talent that would enhance my ability to be able to do my job. So who wants to be judged if I can lead the team? I mean, you think Aaron Rodgers wants to do what he's doing? No, he would much rather have Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, a young Jordy Nelson. We'd much rather have more talent. So why should we discredit them? Because, man, there's only a few guys can do what Aaron's doing, all right? Tom Brady, he's been supported in all different types of ways. He's always had good players around him. Now, the thing about New England and their players, the thing that they hate about people in the business is we never give New England players credit for being good. New England's had great players since Belichick's got there. They go there good, he coaches them up, and they play great in the system. So I don't think it's right to continue last year with Dak. Like, okay, at what level is he on? Well, it's not my fault that I get drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, who have 3 premier offensive linemen, that I'm in the same draft where they draft one of the once in every 20 years type running back in Ezekiel Elliott. This is what good quarterbacks should do. They should be supported. Like, I don't want to know what Carson Wentz looks like without talent. I don't want to know what Dak looks like without talent. How's he looked the last couple of weeks? Yeah, you like looking at that? No, let's put good players around them. And I don't think it's their fault, and I believe it's really, really hard to evaluate guys to say there's only a few. Aaron Rodgers, a guy that can just carry him regardless of the talent.
Right.
Like Tom Brady. I believe Tom Brady could play in any system. But if they don't put good players around him, they don't block for him up front, how do we really evaluate these guys?
The only thing I'll say about that is with young players, you're trying to figure out really who they are. And you look at a situation like RG3, who has the rookie season that he has, and then the rest of his career progresses the way that it does.
That's a good example.
And you look at a guy like Tom Brady, and really, if he wasn't paired with Bill Belichick early, he wouldn't be the guy that he is. And I've said this, I've told this story a bunch of times. Tom Brady was not Tom Brady when he first got there. I used to coach the defensive backs, and Brad Seeley and I, the special teams coach, we would bet $1 every day after practice on these routes that Tom would throw. So I had the defensive guys, he had the offensive guys, and I won a ton of money. Because Tom,
$1 at a time.
Because Tom couldn't hit those guys consistently. Well, you know, we're betting small. But the idea, the thing is, he developed, he continued to progress, and now Tom is unique. It doesn't matter who you put with him; those players are going to play better than they have before. Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning. There's certain guys like that, and you're trying to figure out, is Carson Wentz a force multiplier?
You said. And that's what I wanted to ask you.
Great word choice.
Right. Tell us what
Force
you mean by that, and who is a force multiplier, and how can he be that way?
Defensively, the greatest example of that to me is Ray Lewis. So when Ray Lewis came out as a rookie in his first rookie minicamp when I was there, he changed things. He made people around him better. And it's the same thing with any player that you put into the mix. They're either one of the guys, they're either detracting from the group, or there's someone who makes people around them play better. And for a quarterback, you need that guy to be a force multiplier, especially when you have to start paying him a lot of money. When I hear, you know, we got to get this quarterback who's making $25 million a year, more weapons, you can't afford more weapons. We're paying you all the money. You need to make those weapons around you better. And the question with Dak Prescott or Carson Wentz or any of these young quarterbacks, who are they going to be? What is the trajectory of their career?
And that's why, of all the young quarterbacks, even though the sample size was so small, the guy after a month of football, I was ready to anoint, I didn't know the term, but I'll take it now, force multiplier. The guy who I said of all the young quarterbacks is the one I liked the most was Deshaun Watson. Because we saw that offense with those weapons, that offensive line, last year and the year before, same wide receivers, be awful. And then we saw it be, for 7 weeks, the best offense in the NFL.
Yeah, frightening.
And then he left, and guess what? They can't score points again. Now, maybe it'll be, and I'm not just saying this because they're both black mobile quarterbacks, an RG3 situation where it was, guy gets hurt, never can recapture it, flash in the pan. I don't think that'll be the situation with Deshaun. But I saw Deshaun Watson on a team that didn't have all these great weapons, and he was the guy that changed it. I think Dak and Carson are both excellent, but we don't seem to be asking quite as many questions about Carson in year 2. And maybe it's because it makes more sense that Carson would progress from year 1 to year 2 than we asked about Dak in year 1.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.